So the very first question we are having is, which of the following is not typically used during footprinting? Okay, so guys, as we were yesterday discussing about the footprinting, footprinting is what? It is the very first step of our hacking methodology. We are having the hacking steps, right? Your footprinting, it is also known as your reconnaissance. So in the footprinting, what we are doing is we are trying to gather as much information as we can about the victim over there, right? So over here we will be trying to gather the information about the victim's email ID, right? We will be trying to gather the information about his personal information like his mobile number, his address, and other things also, right? And for that we will be having the different techniques to gather the information, right? For that we can use his social media account, right? We can use the search engines which will be giving us the information about the victim, right? So simply what we can do is, like, let's say over here we have to gather the information about a company, right? So for that what we will be doing is we are going to put the company's name inside our search engine, or we can simply visit the company's website over there, right? And through there, we will be able to gather the information about the website. We will be able to gather the information about the email. You can say employees' names over there, right? Then over here, we are gathering the information with the help of your search engines. Yeah, right. Then after this, we are having email. As I was saying that previously, we are trying to gather the information about the employees' emails also, because later on, the email address they will be used for your phishing attacks, right? To send the phishing mails to the employees over there, right? Then yeah, we are also gathering the information about the emails, right? Then in the last, we are having your Google hacking, right? So Google hacking is the techniques we are using at the time of your footprinting to get a specific result, right? To get a specific result over there. So over there, we are also using our Google hacking, like we are having our Google Docs, which will be helping us to get a specific result. So we are also using the Google hacking over there. Then the correct answer we are having for this is the option C, your port scanning, right? So over here, we are not performing the port scanning at the time of your footprinting. Instead of that, we will be performing this port scanning at the time we will be performing the scanning. Okay, so the correct answer we are having is your option C, your port scanning. So let's move to the next question. Okay, so the question it is saying that what phase comes after footprinting, right? So over here, as we were previously discussing, footprinting is our very first step of our hacking over here, right? In which we are gathering the information. After once we have gathered the information about the victim, right? We have to identify our potential target. Then we are actively going to gather the information about the system over there, right? We will be trying to gather about the information about the services that are running over there, right? So for that, we are having the second step, which is your scanning, right? In which we will be trying to gather the information about the victim, like whether his system it is live or not. Live means to say that whether it is connected to the internet or not, right? Whether it is powered on or not, right? Then after this, we will be trying to gather the information about the ports that are running inside the victim system. We will be trying to gather the information about the vulnerable services also. So that is what we are having the scanning, right? After the scanning, we are having our gaining access, right? So the correct answer we are having is your option C, your scanning. What about this one? Okay, so the question it is saying that which tool can trace the path of a packet? The option A, we are having ping, right? So guys, ping is a very simple utility we are having, right? Which will be helping us to gather the information about the victim, whether it is reachable or not, right? So over here, our ping, what it is going to do is it is going to measure the round trip we are having between our device and the another device we are having in the network, right? So for that, our ping it is going to send the ICMP echo request, and then we will be receiving the ICMP echo reply. Right, on depending upon that, we will be getting the information that yeah, victim is reachable. Then after this, we are having this trace cert. Right, so this trace cert is what it is, a diagnostic tool we are having. Right, your network diagnostic tool. Right, now this trace cert, it will be showing us the route our packet it will be taking from our device over here, right, till this specified in location, right, or you can say the destination, right. So for that, our trace route, our trace cert or our trace route, we are also having the trace route, right. So over here, when we are talking about the trace cert and the trace route, what it will be doing is it is going to check the TTL values over there. Right, over there it is going to send the packets with the increasing TTL values, which stands for your time to live values, right. And over there, each and every router which it will be finding in between, right. So over there, what will be happening is our TTL value, it is going to decrease over there, right. And if our TTL value, it is, you can say, becoming zero, and the last, if it will be becoming zero, then our, you can say, router, it will be giving the reply like the ICMP time exceeded messages, right. So over here, our trace cert is the tool we are having, which will be giving us the information, right. It will be giving us the information about all these hops, right, along with that this round trip we are having, right. So in a simple, we can say our trace cert tool, it will be creating a map for us which our packet it is going to take over there. Then after this, we are having your whois, right. So this whois tool, what it is going to do is it is going to get the information about a domain name, right. It will be gathering the information about the owner's name over there, his contact detail, right, the registration date, right, the registrar information over there. But our whois lookup or this whois tool, it is not going to track any packet path, right. Then we are having our DNS, right. So this DNS, what it is going to do is it is going to translate our domain name into the IP address and the vice versa over here, right. So for that, it is not tracing the path of our packets. So the correct answer is your tracer. What about this one? Okay, which of the following best describe hashing? Okay, so guys, when we are talking about the hashing, right? Hashing is what? It is a process in which we will be transforming any given key, or you can say any given string over there, and some another value, right? So over here, when we are talking about the verticals of your cryptography. So over there we are having like your encryption, we are having your encoding, right? But for them, what we are having is we are having something known as your decryption. For encoding, we are having something known as your decoding over there. But when we are talking about your hashing, we are not having any term like your dehashing over there, right? That is why it is many times known as your irreversible, right. So over here, many times we are describing our hashing as algorithm, right. We are also saying that it is a cipher over there. Many times we are evenly saying that it is a crypto system, right. But uniquely your hashing is what it is, your non-reversible, right. It is a non-reversible method we are having, which is going to verify the integrity of our data, right. So that is what we are having the hashing over here. So the option A, your algorithm, right. Then we are having option B, a cipher, your option C, non-reversible, and option D, your crypto system. So over here, when we are talking about like this crypto system, right, it is a broad term we are having, right, which will be which is going to, you can say, protect our data, right. And hashing, it is one of the part of our crypto system, right. So it is not uniquely referring to the crypto system now, right. Then after this, we are having the non-reversible, right. As we were discussing previously, our hashing, it is having the property of being irreversible, right? Then after this, we are having the cipher, right? So cipher, it is related to our encryption and the decryption. So over here, the correct answer we are having is your non-reversible, the option C. What about this one? Okay, so guys, when we are talking about the brute force attack, like previously, as we were discussing about the brute force attack, right? So in the brute force attack, what the attacker they are doing is first they are making some guessable username and the password. Then one after another, they are going to use each and every one unless and until they will be finding the correct one, right? That is what we are having the brute force attack, right? So over here, the option A, by trying all possible combination of characters, right? Option B, by trying dictionary words. Option C, by capturing the hashes. Option D, by comparing hashes, right? So over here, as we were previously discussing, and the brute force attack, what we are doing is we are using the all the guessable username and the password, right? We will be using all the possible combination unless and until we will be finding the correct credential over there, right? So for that, what we are doing is we are having our alphabets, right? We are having our numerics, right? We are using our special characters. We will be using our symbols, right? Until we will be finding the correct credential, right? Like let's say over here we are having the pin, right? So over here, if it is asking for your 4-digit PIN, then the attacker he will be using all the possible combinations from your 0 till your 9999. Right? That is what you are having the option A. Option B, right? And the dictionary by trying the dictionary words, right? So over here in the dictionary, what we are doing is we are having an attack with the name dictionary based attack, right? In which we will be simply trying to download the dictionaries from the internet, right? And from there we will be using all the credentials we are having inside the dictionary unless and until we will be finding the correct one, right? So over here our dictionary it will be containing all the alphabets we are having, along with that the uppercase, your lowercase, your special characters, your numerics, and depending upon that it will be having the combination inside it, right? Then we will be using it, right? Like we are having your rockq.txt, a quite famous one, which we are also having inside our Kali machine, right? Along with that, we are also having the hybrid attack, which is the combination of our brute force and the dictionary, right? But over here, it is just asking about the brute force, right? So the correct answer we are having for this one is by trying all possible combinations of characters. Your option A. What about this one? Okay, so guys, when we are talking about the NetBIOS over here, right? NetBIOS is what it is a protocol we are having, which we are using for the communication, for sharing the resources, right? So over here, it is not directly related to storing the passwords over there. Okay, is a file used to store password. Okay, so the option A, we are having the network, right? So over here inside our network, right, we are having our storage which will be holding the variety of files, right? Inside that we will be having our database, we will be having different things, right, which will be also containing the password. But this option A, it is not a specific term we are having for storing our password itself. Then we got the option B, your SAM, which stands for your security account manager, right? So this is a file we are having inside our Windows systems, right, which is going to store the information about the user account credential, right, and some other security related information, right, like your permissions, your members, your groups, right? That is what we are having, Sam. Then we are having your option C, which is database, right? Now our database, they can be used for storing our passwords, right? They can be the part of our user accounts, the or the authentication systems, right? So the database is a very broad term we are having. It is not specific for just storing the passwords, right? Then we are having the net BIOS. As I was saying that previously, it is a communication protocol we are having for sharing the resources, right? So it is also not directly related to our password storage. So out of this, we are having this SAM, your security account manager file we are having, right? So this is a file which will be storing the credential, right? It will be storing the information about the username and the password inside the windows over there. If you guys want to check, then you will be finding it inside your system 32. Then we are having our config, right? And then over there you will be having the SAM, and then you will be getting your SAM file over there. So we are having our credential inside the SAM. Do you guys know where the passwords they are getting stored inside the Linux system? Like over here, it was talking about the Windows. Okay, so guys, we are having what? We are having your etc directory. Then inside that we will be having two files. Over there, we are having your two files. The file we are having is your password. Another one we are having is your shadow. Right? So over there we are having your two types of file, your password and your shadow. So over here, our password, it will be containing the information about the username, right? About the, you can say, password policies, like whether it is having the password or not, what is the name we are having, and all those things about the information about the directory. Then we got the shadow file. Now the shadow file over here, this is the file which will be containing the information about the user password. So in the Linux, we are having our password inside the shadow, and in the Windows, we are having our password inside this SAM file. So the correct answer we are having is your option B, your SAM, your security account manager. So let's move to the next one. Okay, a post-breach forensic investigation revealed that a known vulnerability in Apache Struts was to blame for the Equifax data breach that affected 143 million customers. A fix was available from the software vendor for several months prior to the intrusion. This is likely a failure in which the following security processes, right? So over here in the very first, we are having the option A, your vendor risk management, right? So guys, over here, choosing a reliable vendor, it is very important over there. Right, if our vendors they are very reliable, right, they are having the secure products, then it is pretty important over there, right? So over there, our vendor risk management, it wouldn't have, you can say, directly prevented this sort of breach, right? If our chosen vendor, they will be timely providing us the patches. But in this scenario, you can see our software vendor, they have already, you can say, given us the patch, right? A patch was previously available. Then we are having the security awareness training, right? So inside the organization, what we are having is we are having the security awareness training, right? Like training our employees, our colleagues on about the cybersecurity best practices, right? So it will be helping them to prevent the phishing attacks, right? To prevent the social engineering attack. But it is not directly addressing the technical vulnerability we are having, right? Which one the attacker they have exploited in this scenario. Then after this we are having this software development lifecycle, right? So this software development lifecycle, it is focusing on the securing the software at the time of your development, right? Your deployment, right? Your configuration over here, right? So this secure development process, or you can say this secure development, deployment, and this configuration process, right? It might have identified that particular vulnerability, right? But they were not able to address it, right? They were not able to address it, and later on they have, you can say, already given the patch for it. right? Then over here, this is what we are having, the secure development life cycle. Then after this, we are having the patch management, right? So over here in the organization, what we are doing is we are trying to identify, prioritize, and deploy the security patches based upon our vulnerabilities. So in this particular scenario, a known vulnerability, right? We were having the known vulnerability. It existed for your months before the breach, right? And despite that, we were already having a patch for it, we were having the fix for it, it was available, right? But we have not applied it, right? So over here, this particular failure in our patch management, right, this particular failure of our patch management, it left our system vulnerable to the exploitation. So the correct answer we are having is your option D, which is your patch management. Okay, what about this one? So as we were discussing yesterday about the channels, right? What we are having is we are having the overt channel and we are having the covert channel, right? We are having your overt and we are having the covert channel. So over here, your overt channel is what? It is a obvious method, right? It is a obvious method for, you can say, for using a system, right? Then after this, we are having the covert channel. It is an unauthorized way for accessing our system, right? A communication channel we are having, which is your hidden, right? It is unauthorized. So that is what we are having the covert. Whereas when we are talking about the overt, it is an obvious method, right? A authorized method through which we are communicating, right? That is what we are having the overt and the covert, right? So over here, the option A, an obvious method of using a system. No. The option B, a defined process in a system. No, right? Then we are having a backdoor, right? So over here, this covert channel, it will be providing us a backdoor, right? It is going to provide us a backdoor, or it will be allowing us to transmit the information in a hidden way, right? With the victim over there, right? So that is some sort of a backdoor we are having. Then after this, we are having the option D, right? Which is your a Trojan on a system, right? So a Trojan is what? It is a malicious software, right? And the best thing about the Trojan, what it will be doing is it will be looking like a legitimate application over there, right? So over here, this Trojan, once it will be getting executed, it will be providing us the backdoor access of the victim system, right? So over here, our Trojans, what they will be doing is they will be using the covert channel, right? They will be using the covert channel, but along with that, a Trojan, it is having a lot more, you can say, functionalities over there, like they can steal the data, right? They can perform many other functions over there. So out of this, the correct answer, we are having the option C, which is a backdoor, right? A covert channel is what? It is an unauthorized way for the communication we are having. Then what about this one? Yeah, Elias, like over there, like when we are talking about the post exploitation, once we are already having the access of the victim system, what we will be doing is we will be going to a phase name as your data exfiltration, where we will be trying to steal out the data. For that, we will be using the covert channel for transferring the data from the victim system to the attacker over there. At which layer of the OSI model does a packet filtering firewall work? Okay, so guys, when we are talking about a packet filtering firewall, right, it is a very simple firewall which will be working on the basis of your IP and the port number, right? So over here, a packet filtering firewall, it will be working on the basis of the IP and the port number, right? Over here, it is just going to check the IP and the port number, and depending upon that, we are going to define the rules, right? So since our packet filtering firewall, it is just going to look for the IP and the port number, then it is going to work on the layer 3 of our OSI model, right? It will be working on the layer 3 of our OSI model, which is your network layer. So the correct answer we are having for this is your layer 3, right? The correct answer we are having is for the layer 3. But over here, many places you will be also finding that it is also working on the transport layer we are having, right? We are also having the, you can say, the data link layer. It is also working over there. But specifically our packet filtering firewall, it is just going to work on the network layer we are having. Then what about this one? Okay, so guys, when we are talking about the multi-home firewall architecture, right? So in this, what we will be having is either we will be having two firewalls or we will be having more than two firewalls over there, right? In a multi-home firewall architecture, right? Like over here, we are having the internet, right? And with our internet, we will be having our firewall connected, right? And then over here, we will be having another firewall, right? Then we will be having like a DMZ, a demilitarized zone. Then we will be having the organization, the internal network, right? So over there, we should be having two minimum interface, right? That is what your ingress and another one is your outgress, your incoming and your outgoing, right? And over here, when we are talking about the, you can say the network connections, right, which we are having inside this network, then you can see over here, we are having one, right? The another one is here, two, and the another one we are having is your three, right? So over here, the correct answer we are having is your two, right? We should be having the minimum two network connections. Then what about this one? Okay, so in the Wireshark, what we are using is we are using your filters to get a specific result over there. Right, like over here, if we are trying to analyze our network, right, we are intercepting it, right, then over there we will be getting the thousands and thousands of packets, right? So it won't be feasible to go through them one by one. Instead of that, we will be using the filters which will be giving us the specific result, right? So the option A we are having, right? So in this, what we are using is we are using a single equal to operator, right? And after this, we are using this, right? So over here, this particular option, it means that we are using a not equal operator. So over here, this option A, what it is going to do is it is going to show us all the result, right? It will be showing us all the traffic except from this particular IP address, right? Then we are having the option B, right? So this is the same thing, like the same thing we are having as your option A, right? So over here it will be also showing all the traffic except this IP address, right? Then after this we are having the option D, right? So over here in the option D we are using the hyphen, right? So and the display filters we are not having a hyphen over there, right? So this is not a valid filter. So the correct option we are having is your option C, right? In which we are using 2 equals to, right? We are using the 2 equals to over here, right? So over here, what it will be doing is it is going to give us all the packets, right? From this particular IP address, right? If we are sending any packet to this particular IP address or if we are receiving any packets from this particular IP address, we are going to get all those results, right? So that is what we are having this option C. So the correct option is your option C over here. Then what about this one? Okay, so over here, what would you enter if you wanted to perform a stealth scan using Nmap? Right? So in the stealth scan, what we are doing is we are altering the TCP three-way handshake, right? We are altering the TCP three-way handshake over there, right? So in this, what we are going to do is we are not completing the TCP three-way handshake. That is what we are having the stealth scan over here, right? So over here, we are having the option A, your nmap -s and capital M, right? So this is the option we are having for performing the fragment scan, right? So this fragment, what it is going to do is it is going to break our packets into the smaller pieces over there, right? So over here it is being used like whenever you have to evade the firewalls, right? So in those scenarios we are using this fragment scan. Then after this we are having this UDP scan for scanning out the UDP ports, right? Because whatever nmap it will be doing is it is just going to scan the TCP port by default, right? So over here, if you want to check what are the UDP ports that are open, right? What are the services that are running over there, right? So for that, we are having this hyphen SU, right? Then, and the last, we are having the nmap hyphen ST, which is for the TCP scan, right? So over here, this TCP scan, it is also known as the full connect scan we are having, right? Then after this, we are having this option C, your capital S, right? So the capital S we are having for the SYN, right? So over here, it is also known as your halfway scan, right? It is also known as your stealth scan, right? So the correct answer we are having is your nmap hyphen small s and the capital S, right? So this is the option which we will be using for performing the stealth scan using our nmap. Then what about this one? So the network user are complaining because their system are slowing down further. Every time they attempt to go to a website, they receive a series of pop-ups with advertisements. Pop-ups with advertisement. What types of malware has the system been infected with, right? So in the very first, we are having the option A, which is your virus, right? So virus is what? It is a self-replicating program we are having, right? Which will be producing its own copy, and it will be attaching to the files we are having inside our system, right? Then we are having the spyware, right? So spyware are the malwares we are having which are focusing on stealing the data, right? They will be trying to gather the information about the data we are having, right? So over here, generally the spywares, they are being installed inside our browser, right? And over there, they will be trying to gather the information like what sort of websites we are browsing over there, what sort of content we are, you can say, browsing over there. They will be trying to, you can say, gather the information about credentials, the cookies, right? So all those things we are having for the spywares. Then we are having the Trojans, right? So the Trojans are what? These are the malicious softwares we are having, right, which will be providing the backdoor access of the victim system. Then after this, we are having the adware. Now, the adwares are what? These are the malwares, right, which will be generating the pop-ups. Like whenever we are surfing, right, whenever we are surfing to the websites, over there, what we will be getting the pop-ups, right? We will be getting lot of pop-ups. Like we are using the torrent, right? Like let's say we are using the torrent over here, we are trying to download some movies, some application from the piracy sites. Now what they will be doing is they are going to throw lots of ads, right? So once you will be clicking on that ad, it is going to redirect you to some other website. Now maybe from the website you were downloading that application, that particular movie, it was safe, right? But the place it is forwarding you, it is redirecting you over there, right? It can be malicious, which would be downloading the malware inside your system, right? So over here, the correct answer we are having is your adware. Okay, your option D. Then what about this one? Okay, a group of hackers were roaming around a bank office building in a city, driving a luxury car. They were using hacking tools on their laptop with the intention of finding a free access wireless network. What is this hacking process known as? Right? So over here, the option A, we are having the GPS mapping. Right? So over here, lots of tools we are having which will be utilizing the options like the GPS mapping. Right? They will be trying to record the location, right, of the found networks we are having, right? But these are the but for the GPS mapping tools, these are the not the primary purpose we are having for, you can say, finding the free access wireless network over there, right? But in this scenario, you can see the question, it is saying that it is focusing on finding the freely accessible Wi-Fi, not mapping out our geographical location. So the option A, it will be incorrect. Then option B, your spectrum analysis we are having, right? So this spectrum analysis over here, right? We are using it to analyze our radio frequency, right? To analyze our radio frequency over there, to identify the characteristics, right? To characterize our, you can say, signals over there, right? Whether we are talking about the Wi-Fi network also, right? So over there, we are using the spectrum analysis for performing the advanced level of wireless attack, right? So over here, the option B, it will be also incorrect. Then after this, we are having the wireless sniffing, right? After this, we are having the wireless sniffing over here. So in the wireless sniffing, we are trying to capture, we are trying to analyze our network traffic, right? We are trying to capture the information about the, you can say, network traffic over the airwaves we are having. Right? So over here, this is also the incorrect one. After this, we are left with the option C, which is your ward driving. Right? So in the ward driving, what we will be doing is the attacker, like he will be driving around in his car, right? And he will be searching for the free Wi-Fi network. That is what known as your war driving, right? Along with that, like we are having the war walking, right? We are also having the war walking. And thus the attacker, he will be taking the laptop and he will be moving around in a search of your free Wi-Fi open network, right? We are also having your war flying. And the war flying, what we are doing is like the attackers, they will be using the drone to find out the open wireless Wi-Fi network, right? That is what we are having the war flying, right? So the correct answer we are having is your option C, which is your war driving. So guys, over here, what we are having is we are having symbols like these, right? So in the word chalking, what we are doing is we will be drawing the symbols and the public places so that we are advertising an open Wi-Fi network. That is what known as your word chalking. What about this one? So guys, when we are talking about the Xmas scan, right? In the Xmas scan, what the attacker will be doing is he will be sending three packets together, right? He will be sending three packets together to the victim over here, right? Like he will be he will be sending a packet which will be having the three flags, right? Instead of sending like the sin, right? Instead of sending like the, you can say, acknowledgement over there, instead of sending like the reset over there, what he's doing is he's sending your fin, your push and urge, right? He will be sending a packet which will be having three flags, right? So over there, this particular victim, he will be finding this particular packet, right? So let's say we are going into the market and we will be finding a stranger, right? He will be coming to our place, right? Like in our, we can say in our front, and he will be saying goodbye, right? So over there, what we are going to do is we are going to ignore him, right? So same thing will be also done by our victim. If the port will be open, then it is not going to give us any reply. Let's say the port is closed. Let's say the port is closed, and this victim system, it will be sending us the reset over there, right? It is going to send the reset, which will be saying that, boss, it is not a proper way to start a connection, or let's say we are having some errors over here. Let's do one thing, let's restart the connection from the correct manner, in which we will be sending your SYN, right? We will be having your SYNAC and your ACK, right? So over here, the correct answer we are having is your option B, which is your reset. Then what about this one? Okay. Morris, a professional hacker, performed a vulnerability scan on a target organization by sniffing the traffic on the network to identify the active systems, network services, applications, and vulnerabilities. He also obtained the list of users who are currently accessing the network. What is the type of assessment that Morris performed on the target organization, right? So from this, we are having the option A, which is your internal assessment, right? So this is the technique which is being used to scan the internal infrastructure to find out the exploits and the vulnerabilities, right? So guys, over there inside this particular scenario, it is not clear like if we are, you can say, if we are authorized to scan, right? If we are, you can say, unauthorized to scan and all those things. Along with that, when we are talking about the internal assessments, right, over there we are also having the privileges, right? We are also having the internal privileges, right? We will be having the information about the target, right? The organization over there, right? We will be having the information about the network, right? We will be having lots of information. So this is not the case we are having, so the option A, it will be incorrect. Then after this we are having the option B, which is the passive assessment. So in the passive assessment, we are going to sniff our network traffic. We will be trying to find out the active system, the services, application, and what are the vulnerabilities which are present over there, right? So in this particular scenario, what is happening is Morris, he sniffed our network traffic, right? Along with that, what he did is like he gathered the information, right? After sniffing the network over there, he gathered the information, right? So it is what it is, a purely a passive way to gather the information about the active systems, right? The network services, the applications over there. Along with that, what are the potential vulnerabilities, right? Along with that, it doesn't actively exploit any, you can say, vulnerabilities whichever he found, right? Then we are having the external assessment. So in the external assessment, we will be assessing the network from the hacker's point of view, right? We are assessing the network from the hacker's point of view to find out like what are the exploits and the vulnerabilities, right, which are accessible to the outside world. That is what we are having the external assessment. Then after this, we are having the credentialed assessment. And the credentialed assessment, we will be using the valid credentials, right? We will be having the privileges over there to exploit the vulnerabilities, you can say, or let's say over here you have to perform the vulnerability assessment in a laptop, right? You have to perform the vulnerability assessment in a laptop. So inside this credential assessment, what you will be doing is you will be providing the credential of that particular laptop, whether from the, you can say, remote connection or through the, you can say, physically over there, right? So over there you will be providing the access of that particular system with the help of your credential, so that our scanners, what they can do is they can perform a thorough scan, right? It can perform a thorough scan, what are the applications that are installed inside it, if they are having any vulnerabilities inside them or not, right? So that will be our credentialed assessment we are having, right, which will be giving us the deeper insight inside our system, right? So from here, the correct answer we are having is your option B, your passive assessment, right? In which we are sniffing the network, right? And then we are finding the information. That is the passive assessment we have. Then what about this one? What is correct about digital signature? The option A digital signature cannot be moved from one signed document to another because it is the hash of the original document encrypted with the private key of the signing party, right? So over here, when we are talking about the digital signature, right? So guys, our digital signatures, they are being generated by creating the hash over there, right, of our original document, and then later on we are encrypting it, right? We will be encrypting the hash with the private key of the sender, right? So in a simple, let's say we are having a sender and we are having the receiver, right? So over here, what this sender will be doing is like we are having our asymmetric encryption, right, in which we will be having the public and the private key, right? Both the parties, they will be having the public and the private key, so they will be exchanging at the time of their connection, right? So over here, what the sender will be doing is, let's say the sender, it has to send your hello, right? So over here, once he will be writing hello, he is going to calculate the hash of this hello, and then he is going to encrypt the hash of the original message using the sender's private key. That is what known as your digital signature, right? So over here, this is ensuring that our signature, it is unique to a specific content we are having of our document, right? Along with that, it cannot be transferred to the another document without access to the private key, right? So that is why the option A, it is the correct one. Then what about this one? Okay. So guys, over here, when we are talking about the network sniffing, right? So in this, what the attacker will be doing is they will be using the sniffing tools, and using that, they will be trying to, you can say, monitor and capture out the traffic which is going through the given network, right? So for that, let's say if we are having this HTTP and we are having the HTTPS, which one is the secure one? The HTTP or the HTTPS? HTTPS, right? So over here, let's say if we are trying to connect a website and over there we are putting our credential, right? Inside that particular website, like over here it is a bank website. Now, if we will be putting our credential inside the HTTP, what will be happening is if a attacker, he will be coming and he will be intercepting the traffic, right? So over there he will be able to get our credential in the plain text. Whereas when we are talking about the HTTPS, if he will be intercepting the traffic, then he will be getting the data in the encrypted format, right? Although he will be able to get it, but he won't be able to understand it. He won't be able to read it. He won't be able to, you can say, write it over there, right? Unless and until he's not having the decryption key, right? So over here, the option A, we are having using encryption protocols to secure network communication, right? So as we were saying over here, right, if we will be having the encryption protocols, right, if we are having the secure protocols, then even if our sniffer, they are able to capture the packets, right? Even if they are able to capture the packet, but they won't be able to decipher it. They won't be able to crack it. The actual content we are having of that particular data communication, right? Then after this, we are having the option B, registering the MAC address, right? So over here, if we are having the information about the MAC address, right? If we are having the information about the known MAC address, then it's a great thing, right? It is very important, but it is not directly defending against the attack like you're sniffing over there, right? Then after this, using the static IP address, right? So over here, it is related to our network management, right? It is simplifying our network management, but it is not preventing our network sniffing over there, right? Like static IPs, they will be helping us to identify a specific device over there pretty easily, right? But it is not encrypting our communication, right? It is not preventing the unauthorized access to our traffic, our network traffic. Then we got the option D, restrict physical access to server rooms hosting critical servers. Right, so over there, if we are restricting the physical access, then it is very crucial. You can say it is a great thing we are doing over there for our overall security. So over there, when we are talking about the restriction of your physical access, right? So over there, they are not going to particularly, or you can say specifically, they are not going to defend against our network sniffing, right? The tampering of our, you can say, hardwares over there, right? So over there, if we are restricting the physical access, right, so they will be defending against the physical attacks we are having, right? Or let's say we are having the direct hardware attacks, but they are not defending against the sniffing we are having, right? Because in the sniffing, what the attacker will be doing is like they will be performing the sniffing and the wireless on the, or in the, you can say, remote connections over there, right? From, you can say, sitting remotely in a place, and then they will be performing the sniffing, right? So from here, the option is A is the correct one, having the encryption protocol, right? Which will be making the data which is in the transit, it will be making it unreadable, right? So anyone who will be holding it, right? So anyone who will be holding that particular data after the interception, right, they won't be able to understand it unless and until they are having the decryption key over there. Okay, so over here we are having the option A, which is the correct one. Then what about this one? So guys, when we are talking about the rainbow tables, right? Rainbow tables are what? These are the pre-computed database we are having, right? Which will be containing the checksum, right? And they will be containing the plain text over there, right? Like let's say we are having your 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be creating a hash like your A, B, C, D, right? So over here inside our rainbow table, we will be having this 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will be having the hash for it, your ABCD, right? Along with that, whatever algorithm we have used over there for hashing it, right? So over here, inside our system or inside the database, our password, they are not getting stored in the plain text. No, instead of that, they will be getting stored in the hash format. Right, they are getting stored in the hash format. So over here, what the attacker will be doing is they will be stealing out our hash, and after that, they will be trying to map out, right? Over here we are not actually cracking the hash, right? What we are doing is we are mapping the hash with the help of these rainbow tables. We will be mapping the hash, right? So let's say over here we are having a platform of a rainbow table, right? So inside this, what we will be doing is we will be putting this hash, right? We will be putting this hash, right? Your ABCD. Now, inside the database of this rainbow table, what it is going to do is it is going to search for the word like your ABCD, right? And once it will be finding your ABCD, it will be looking for the, you can say, the plain text for it, right? And once it will be grabbing the information about the plain text, about the hashing algorithm, then it will be giving us the answer. Like for the hash, your ABCD, the plain text is what? It is your 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that is how we are using the rainbow table for cracking the, for mapping out the hashes for us, right? So over here, we are having the option A, which is your use of non-dictionary attacks, right? So over here, if we are not using the dictionary, you can say words, right? If we are not using the, you can say dictionary words, right? Then over there, what we will be doing is we are going to, you can say use some strong passwords, right? Which will be going beyond our dictionary, right? We will be having some special characters, some special numbers, some special, you can say uppercase, lowercase, right? And by doing that, what we are doing is we are creating some special, you can say sentence over there, right, which is quite unique, right? It won't be containing inside of any sort of, you can say, dictionary over there, right? So over here, that is what we are having the option A, right? Then after this we are having the option B, all uppercase characters password, right? So over here, when we are talking about these all uppercase character passwords, right? So basically, as we were previously discussing, inside our rainbow table we will be having all sort of combinations, right? It will be containing the special characters, the uppercase, the lowercase, the numericus, right? And many more, right? And by doing that, it will be creating some guessable username and the password, right? So over there it can be also cracked, right? Then after this we are having your password salting, right? So and the salting, what we are doing is we are also, right, over here in the salting, what we are doing is we are adding some random numbers. Like over here I have to create a password like PASSWORD. I'm creating like a password like this. So along with this password, what I will be doing is I will be adding some random values, right, which will be our salt, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then after that I will be creating the hash of it, and then this hash, it will be getting stored inside our system, right, which will be making it much more secure over there, right? So that is what we are having the salting. Then after this we are having the account lockout policies, right? So account lockout policy means to say that whenever we are performing the brute force attack, we will be trying to perform, we will be trying to, you can say, get the valid credential. For that we will be using all guessable combinations, right? So over there, once our system, it will be finding that we are having the multiple login attempts like the unsuccessful, then it is going to lock, right? Then it is going to, you can say, prevent us to get the access of that particular account for the time being, right? So that is also a incorrect one, right? So over here, we can use our password salting, right? We can use our password salting in which we will be adding some random strings, right, with our password before making it, before converting into the hash over there, right? So by doing that, what we are doing is we are making it very complex for our rainbow table to map out over there, right? So through this method, what we can do is we can defeat the rainbow table. So correct answer is your password salt.